And we are back. As promised, we are looking into a matter that concerns you. We want to look into self-discipline because this is a principal matter when you're making life decisions, especially if you're struggling between making a decision, distraction, or just life. Right. So we want to talk about self-discipline, and we have an expert for this particular conversation. I am joined by one Kelvin Nyamache, who's the founder and CEO of Edulite International, and he'll tell us more about what he does there. But he's also an inspirational speaker and a life coach. Karibu sana, Kelvin.
Asante sana.
Glad to have you. Tell us, what is it that you do at Edulite International?
Thank you so much for welcoming me here, and thank you so much, viewer, for joining us. At Edulite International, we empower minds and we shape futures. Edulite International Consultants Limited is a company that is focused on mentorship and trainings on different cadres and stations of life. We focus on different aspects such as training people on public speaking, leadership, matters, entrepreneurship, communications, and so on and so forth.
Okay, that's profound. And I understand that it's not just in Kenya. As you've said, it's international. So how do you make this happen?
Yeah, we have ambassadors and mentors who are affiliated to Edulite International from different countries. So we operate globally, and as Kelvin Nyamache, I do also talks globally. So my work involves traveling from one country to another under the banner of Edulite International, giving people talks and helping them to untap their hidden potentials and become better versions of themselves. I normally call myself that I'm a citizen of this country, an African by spirit, okay. But by nature, I am global.
Oh, wow. Citizen of this country, African by spirit, and by nature you're global. Yes. I love that.
Thank you.
Okay, so for all that to happen, I believe there has to have had been self-discipline in you, you know, and something that is still there. So tell us about this journey. How has self-discipline helped you so that our viewer can relate to this particular topic?
Absolutely. It has been not a walk in the park. It hasn't been a bed of roses. I was born in a hoi polloi background, very humble beginnings at Suguta village in Kisii, where I was born and bred. And I remember those days now with a lot of nostalgia, growing up, living between hand and mouth, pushing. We didn't have enough food. My mother and my father working as laborers in people's farms and making a paltry sum of money. I remember going to school barefoot for the entire time I was at Motonyoni DOK Primary School. I remember going to high school and still having the same struggles. I remember facing rejections, facing betrayals, but still I pushed hard, and I made it to the university where I did an education. I did my bachelor's degree in education, arts, English, and literature. That was Maseno University. But somewhere in between, I came to learn that it will only take me to live the creed of my dreams. I realized that my life is in my hands. Our destinies are in our very hands. And it will only take you to live the kind of life that you want. So I closed my ears and I stopped listening to voices from within and without, and I started intrinsically focusing from the voice that was within me. And the only thing that came out crystal clear, it was that I had to learn a nugget of wisdom on the realms of self-discipline and master it for me to achieve these heights. So the self-discipline has been part of my life. Waking up every day very early in the morning by 4 in the morning and studying and reading and writing, going to the gym every day just to practice, listening to podcasts and, doing stuff here and there. So it has been part and parcel of the journey. Okay. I believe that we'll go to the nitty-gritties as we continue the interview.
Absolutely. But I want to ask, has there been a particular defining moment in your life that made you realize the importance of self-discipline?
Absolutely. Right now, as a CEO of Edulite International, I have a lot of things that I'm supposed to do. I'm running my company. I have employees, and I also have people who also working for Edulite International from other countries. I also love reading, so I have to set aside some time for reading. I have to go to the gym. Now, how do I keep up with such a kind of strict schedule? I have to be disciplined as a person. So I wake up when the rest of the world is asleep, when this world is silent. That's when I prepare my day. That's where I plan everything. And then I have to now write down my priorities for the day, and I have to follow them in between the lines, not skipping anything. And also I have to avoid all forms of distractions for me to keep up with such a kind of a schedule. So right now, in my capacity as an Edulite International CEO, and also as a writer, as an inspirational speaker, as a life coach, that's one tenet that is making me keep going.
Okay. Profound, because I wanted to ask you, what does self-discipline look like? And from that, you've really just answered it. But maybe you can expound on it more further. You know, for someone who's wondering, what does self-discipline look like for someone who's just out there looking for work? You know, there's a particular meme that I saw, you know, that they were saying that, yes, we have been told that the early bird catches a worm. And yes, the CEOs get up very early in the morning at 3, 4 a.m.
Yes.
But what will I get up at 3, 4 a.m. to do? They know what they're going to do. They have their work that they're going to do. Will they not tell us what they are going to do so that we can also get up at that 4 a.m. to go and do the same? So what does self-discipline look like for someone who's out there and jobless looking for work?
You know, self-discipline is simply the art of doing what is right and what must be done even when you don't feel like doing it. Because life alone has got its own set of challenges. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and you don't just feel like doing anything. Unlike motivation, which is unreliable, self-discipline is reliable because this one is intrinsically motivated. Motivation, somebody will tell you that, oh, you know, you need to work hard, you need to do this, you need to do this. Then the fire will burn at the moment. But at some point in time, the fire will just, you know, disappear. But the self-discipline, we will keep you going. Now, for you to be disciplined and for you to keep track of the journey towards mapping up your destiny, you must first of all know who you are. You must identify with your purpose. Purpose is simply your raison d'etre, the reason as to why you do exist. Now, once you have known your purpose, once you know where you're coming from, where you're right now, and where you are headed, now it will be very easy for you to plan your life. If you know the weight your future carries, you can't play around with your time. If you know that there's a seed planted deep inside you, a seed that awaits to meet a great need in the world, then you cannot play around with your time. Now, once you have identified with your purpose, now you will have to package yourself and in a manner that you're going to attract that future of your dream. And it takes self-discipline now to crest those greater heights and to reach at the mountaintop.
Okay, I love that. But now, even as people want to, because I believe everyone would want to get to be disciplined, but people struggle with it for various reasons. Especially when you look at someone wants to do this, but they will procrastinate. Someone wants to do that, but they have self-doubt. So how do they beat all these voices in them and say, this is what I want to do, then let me pursue it? So how do you make sure that you stay on course?
It's a sad reality that most humans are jumpy. You see, you need to be as patient as a cobra to walk the journey of life. Most people are not patient with themselves. And self-discipline teaches us also the tenets of patience. You must be patient. Consider a hen. It takes more than 21 days for it to remain, for it to hatch an egg. So what does it do? It sleeps on the eggs, no noise, no distractions, no nothing, just focusing for it to hatch that egg. And during that period of time, bone is forming, flesh is forming, wings are forming, and by the time now you come to the end of the 21 days, now we have, now it's ready to hatch. That notwithstanding, I wonder whether you have heard the story of the Chinese bamboo tree.
Tell me about it.
You see, just like any other tree, the Chinese bamboo tree needs nurturing for it to grow.
Mm-hmm.
It needs water, it needs sunshine, it also needs fertile soil for it to grow. When you do plant the seed of a Chinese bamboo tree, you expect growth to happen within a fortnight, but that's not the case. So you water the ground for the first 1 week, the second week, the first year, the second year, the third year, the fourth year, the fifth year, and there's no sign of growth. Now it's during the fifth year that you now get lost in your stream of consciousness, and you have two conflicting voices in your head. You're caught in a catch-22. One voice is telling you to give up, another voice is telling you to keep going, but you decide to listen to the latter. So you keep on pushing forward the first 1 month, second month, third month, sixth month. Now during the 12th month, lo and behold, a miracle happens. This is when the Chinese bamboo tree breaks out of the soil and it grows exponentially, 90 feet within 6 weeks.
Wow.
The good mathematicians will say that's around 18 centimeters every day. Please permit me ask you a question. Why do you think it took such a very long time for it to remain dormant, only to break out of the soil and grow in such an exponential manner?
It took time to form.
Absolutely. Actually, to form an extensive rooting system
Yes,
in the ground that will hold a foundation that will hold this marvelous Chinese bamboo tree once it breaks out of the soil. Such is life. We need to be patient with life. Sometimes we do things even in a small way, but we don't see whether the things we are doing are making impact. All we need to do is to remain consistent, to remain disciplined, to keep on doing these things, no matter how hard it is, no matter how long it takes, but with our eyes fixed at the ball. And just like the Chinese bamboo tree, one day you just break out of the soil and grow in such an exponential manner, shoot to the skies.
And people would wonder, how did you get here very fast? They don't know the story
and that's why you find
it.
most people, you'll see people who are trying to do stuff here and there. You start a business, and you're trying to put things together. You keep on failing from time to time. But you see, Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before he invented the light bulb. But when he was asked, what is the major lesson that you did learn during that period of time, he said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I only found 1,000 ways which don't work.
Okay.
So when you're trying to put things together and things are not working out, you're simply learning the nitty-gritties of making this thing work in an excellent manner. And that's what I normally tell my clients. That's what I normally tell my people. That's what you're supposed to do.
Okay, so it's just a matter of changing perception, especially around failure. Not looking at it as failure, but as a lesson, right? And getting up from it. Now, in the age of social media, and we know that most of the people in this generation, most of the people that are watching us in the social media era, so most times people on social media, and Kenya was ranked highest, the people who spend time on social media. So there's a lot of pressure that comes from it. You're seeing people thriving, you feel like you're not making it, and people fake it out here, but that's what you get. That we take in what we receive from people. So that pressure gets to you, and on all those. So how do you again stay grounded despite the uncertainty around you and all that?
Social media can be a mirage. You see, most of the time things things are not the way they appear to be. You must learn to run your own race. Most people in social media are running people's races. they are running around like headless chickens, and we call it technosexualism.
Come again?
I don't know whether it's technosexualist or technosexualism, something thereabout. I'm not sure about the term, where people now are so much attracted into technology that they don't want to improve themselves. You find somebody from break of dawn to dead of night, people in social media, the first thing you look at when you wake up in the morning is your phone. The last thing you look at when you go back to bed is your phone. But this is it. You must learn the principle of waking up in the morning with determination if you want to go back to bed with satisfaction. And this is how you live a fulfilling and rewarding life. When you wake up in the morning, please switch off your phone. First, focus on you. If you are praying, pray. Then set the goals for the day. Because if you don't set your goals for the day, you'll just be running around like a headless chicken. And then if you want to stretch, exercise. Invest in you. And once you're done that, now get to social media. And you must also have things you are interested in. Don't just be surfing through social media reels from break of dawn to break of evening. Don't know what you're doing, just seeing people dancing and stuff like that. Use social media to improve yourself. And then in the evening also, before you sleep, just have a 2 hours break between you and sleep. And during that time, your phones and all your gadgets must be switched off. If you can embrace the world of readership within that period of time, the better for you.
Wow. I love that. Those are good habits, and I should borrow that, especially on not staying with my phone when I go to sleep, because sometimes most people, the young people, they find themselves asleep while they were on their phones, and they wake up to their phones.
It's a struggle. I've been there.
It's a whole struggle. Yeah.
It's a struggle.
But why is that important? Why is it? You not waking up to your phone and you not going to sleep well with your phone. How is that an effect? Because some people don't get the point, really.
A phone can be a distraction. And the way the mind is designed, the mind easily gets attracted to trivialities, things that don't just make sense. Somebody shaking a sitting apparatus in social media, and as a guy, you are looking at it and it interests you. And there's a manner in which nowadays I came to realize, if you take even around 2 minutes watching that thing, then the next post will also bring the same thing.
Similar,
in a different
the algorithms.
Version, the algorithms and so on and so forth. So you realize if you want to set a pace for the day, then you must you must seclude the first hour, the first minutes of the day to yourself. Just focus on yourself intrinsically. I don't know. Some people do yoga. Some people do meditation. I personally love doing meditation in the morning. And I've also studied the greatest minds we have had since the beginnings of time. Most of them will come to realize that in the morning, they simply focus on themselves. And then after that, after they have set the pace for the morning, after they have put their house in order, that's when they start focusing on other things. That notwithstanding, young people must also learn that social media is very important. When I left my profession as a teacher, I used to teach at Bunyore Girls National School, and then I taught at St. Sylvester's Girls. When I decided to leave the corporate world now, start my own life, it was not easy. And then somewhere in 2021, I decided to start writing. I used to write a lot of articles. Political commentaries, articles on life, doing reviews for books and so on and so forth. And now I started posting them online. That's when I started attracting a big following. By the time I was, 1 year later, now I had a big following. People adding me to their WhatsApp platforms where they're adding value. I share things there. I share stuff here and there. And one day I even attracted the international space. And then I remember I was appointed as the steering committee chair for the African Union Youth Assembly. Thanks to my presence online, I was appointed as the African Regional Director for the World Youth Summit. Wow. Thanks for my presence online. And thereafter also the African Regional Director for the Global Youth Summit the Youth Up Global projects. So these are some of the things that I have done. And I also started my company courtesy of social media. I have created big networks, great friends,
From
ministers,
social
vice presidents, CEOs of big companies. I have traveled the world thanks to social media.
Wow.
So if you want to use social media for your own advantage, trust me, social media will get you to the zenith of success.
Okay, so it is all dependent on how you use it. Where the input, you get the output. So
Yes.
use it the best way that you can.
And if you allow me before you proceed, because
Okay.
this is an important point,
Okay.
young people must also learn to invest in social media in a more positive manner.
How so?
Nowadays, people don't go to offices looking for jobs. I have a friend right now who's earning more than 300,000, and she got her job in LinkedIn. Nobody even asked for her papers.
They just
asked her, "What
see your
this do you do?
profile."
We have seen your profile. Can you do this with us? Yes. This is our salary. Let's see whether you can do it." And she did it, and she was competitive. No, once you have invested in your mind, and then you invest in social media positively, you'll always attract the best. So young people should not wait at the comfort zones, going to offices, throwing CVs and coming to watch movies in Netflix, and posting in TikTok. I've seen people just stretching their lips like frogs in water all day, taking selfies and posting them everywhere. Young people should learn to invest in these spaces, so these spaces can invest in them in return. Social media can be a great
Asset.
blessing, an asset to somebody.
Wow, I love that. And how it just connects to self-discipline, and because even in investing in social media takes self-discipline. You posting consistently like you did, and you attracted a whole community, you attracted your company. It takes a lot. Now, what are some of the red flags as we come to a close on this for someone who is not practicing self-discipline, something that they can cut them early and change?
Self-discipline is the bridge between dream and fulfillment. Self-discipline is the link between aspiration and achievement. Self-discipline gives birth to a fulfilling and a rewarding life. If you are living a life that is confused, and feel like you are confused and you're lost in a forest, it simply means there's something that you're not doing right.
That's a red flag.
If you're not happy, it means that you should go to a recess. You must have a meeting with yourself. You must get lost in your stream of consciousness. You must rack your brains and think deeply about what you are doing right and what you are not doing right. Because it simply means there is a missing gap somewhere. There's a disconnect somewhere. And once you have identified the white elephant in the house, now you have to work out a plan on how to climb to the mountaintop. The journey might not be easy. It has got its own ups and downs. But for you to get at the mountaintop, it will only take self-discipline. It takes you.
All right. Wonderful. As a way of closing this, what is the process of self-discovery? And I know this can be a whole topic on its own if we choose to discuss it. But I know that it's also vital for you to know yourself, as you said, know your purpose, so that you can be disciplined at something, following it. So as a way of closing it, what is the process of self-discovery? And
Close yourself and look inwards. There's something special about you. Amongst billions of people who have died, billions of people are still alive, and billions of people who have not yet been born, there is nobody like you. There is a special purpose in you. Now, this is what you're supposed to. When I was a teacher at Bunyore Girls, I remember one time, I gave a talk at the assembly. And by the time I was done, the entire assemblage was in an eerie silence, and everybody was looking at me. I saw girls crying. I saw the principal almost crying. And then when I was leaving the podium, everybody was congratulating me. And now, what followed thereafter is what actually opened my doors. The girls were telling me, "You're more than a teacher. We feel like you can do more." And then the teachers were telling me, you can be more. I wonder what you're doing here with us. So that kept me thinking. I wanted to do something different. Now I remembered the words my grandfather, James Nyamache, told me as a boy, that you are a talented speaker. One day you will stand at world stages speaking to people, helping them become better versions of themselves, and that's where you are headed. So I kept on hearing these voices from the genesis of times. And now, when I decided to look inwards, I realized that this is a path that I must undertake. And that's why I founded Edulite International, which is now the vehicle that is taking me to that place. And because I know that if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go with a group of people. I have decided now to create this as a platform that is going to attract mentors and the mentees who are going to help the world become a better place. So self-discovery is a whole topic, and I look forward to coming back here again so that we can talk about it.
Absolutely. We sure will invite you to come back to talk about self-discovery, because it's an area where many people feel lost. With that, they can implement self-discipline. But even with what you have told us, I believe that they have at least a clearer picture of what self-discipline can do and why it is important. Once again, thank you very much for coming, and maybe you can share with us your social media handles.
Asante sana.
This is your camera.
Thank you so much. I look forward to walking this journey with you, and together we will reach the zenith of success. To follow me, just search me in all the social media realms as Kelvin Nyamache. In Facebook, I go by Kelvin Nyamache. In LinkedIn, in TikTok, and all those other pages. And that notwithstanding, you can also search my company, Edulite International, through the website www.eduliteinternational.com.
All right.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Asante sana.
So that has been Kelvin Nyamache, who is the founder and CEO of Edulite International. He's also an inspirational speaker and a life coach, as you've heard it from him. I hope you have been inspired to step out today and do what you can do, but you have been afraid to do. And we'll continue this conversation. It doesn't stop here. But for now, we're going to take a short break, and then Brian Sakwa will be coming up with the next topic. Stay with us.